Keep on rocking in the free world, people. Hi, welcome to Talk Comics to Me. It's been a while. I'm trying to find a good way to enter us into the Talk Comics zone. I'm Champenstein.
I'm Heather Hadfield.
We're here to talk about comic books. We'll eventually get back on a normal schedule, but bear with us as we figure that out.
Yeah, it's been the last crazy month or two.
Or three. We've been bad. It's fine.
Yeah, once we get our emotions in check, everything will be fine.
All right. Go ahead, Heather.
Let me go?
Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have this book called The Joker, The Boy Who Stopped Laughing. That is what I'm going to be calling it from now on. The Boy Who Stopped Laughing. This is issue number 2. Here we go. Beautiful. This story is about how Joker decided that Gotham is no longer big enough for him, so he goes to Los Angeles and decides to start slowly taking over the world. But the twist is it's an imposter. It's not the Joker, because the Joker is back in Gotham. Someone had tried to kill him and he didn't die, so he's trying to get back to where he was, but no one's believing him because Joker's in LA. He's been on TV and shit, so they think that the real Joker is an imposter. It's a whole snafu that he's in right now. But in this one, you do discover that the mysterious character in the first one, who was kind of keeping himself up and walking around and stuff, that was actually Joker. He's got a bullet hole in his head and he's I have no idea what happened. I just woke up randomly. I don't know where I am. I don't know how long it's been. What the fuck is going on? So he goes to Harley for help because he's I don't know who else to turn to. Everyone keeps trying to beat me up.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But the conversation that his internal monologue when he's talking to Harley is actually, I don't like Joker as a person. I think he's a terrible human being.
Yeah,
but
Joker's bad.
Yes, but the way that he is describing why he chose to go to Harley instead of anyone else was okay, I guess that's what you think,
Mm-hmm.
I don't dislike this series. There's something about it that I like, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It could be the art, or it could be just the way Matthew Rosenberg tells stories.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I had mixed feelings on that first issue, which is why I didn't just add it to my pull file.
Right.
Because I also as a whole, don't probably need another Gotham person book.
It's fair.
And I also I don't think I like the Joker enough to commit to another book. Because I like that Joker puzzle box book, but
that was as many issues as you needed.
Yeah, and that was more he was just telling the story. He was more of a background than anything.
Right.
An unreliable narrator, if you will.
Which is the best kind of Joker story because that's real.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's kind of the same thing here.
Yes. But I am curious, again, the way that the story is told, I find very interesting because I'm well, who the fuck is the imposter? Who's in LA? I want to know.
Yeah.
And I like the art a lot for this book. I think it's really cool. There's a page near the back that was very confusing to me.
That's strange.
And so the story and the way that it's told is okay, so there is a Shyamalan twist somewhere. What's happening? And so I am curious because Red Hood is doing a lot of investigating and here trying to find the Joker because he believes everyone who says no, the Joker is still here in Gotham, because a lot of the people that the Joker runs into, they're trying to tell people no, he never left, but no one believes him because they see this Joker that's in LA, on TV and all that kind of stuff. But Red Hood is the only one who believes them, so he's trying to investigate all of these leads. But of course, Joker is one step ahead of him. And yeah, it turns into this whole thing where that happens, and I was okay, but what does that mean? And so yeah. It's an interesting story. And then the second story in the back, the Joker's story, he fakes his own death so that he can hear what the other villains in Gotham actually think of him, because he doesn't believe that they're actually his friend. It's good. Yeah, ridiculous.
I like that a lot.
But it was a lot of fun. And then they all just beat him up again, because that's what started it originally, is they were being mean to him and they hurt him and stuff. And he's I don't think you guys actually like me. So it was a fun story.
Okay. I have Gotham City Year One. This is a book by Tom King and Phil Hester. This is just taking it back, far back. So this is, I can't remember. I just remember it's Constance Wayne.
That art is so good.
Yeah. That's like really why I like this book. Like the detective narration just feels really like, like noir-esque and... Noir. It has like that feeling, but like Phil Hester's art is just like so fucking good. And like his panels, like just... Yeah, I could look at this book all day. Like, look at this fucking shadow work.
Yeah, I was gonna say the colors and like the shading is just so good.
So I guess it's like it's Phil Hester and the inks are by Eric Gapster, and colors are by Jordi Belair.
Of course.
So it's like I like this book and I don't like this book. It's only time will tell as we get farther. I can't remember how many issues it's supposed to be. 6?
Yeah, I feel like it was supposed to be 6.
Okay. But yeah, just a detective story set in Gotham before Batman, following the Waynes, and there is the use of the N-word in here. I will say that. That's the
one that had the warning in the first book. Okay.
Yeah, and it has it in this one too. Like I said, once again, still feel iffy about it. But
because it makes sense if the creative team was different.
Yeah, it would make sense if the creative team was different. I'm sure there is a sensitive... I would hope that Tom King is using a sensitivity writer or like reader. But it's also... Yeah, it's just strange to me because, it's just like it's trying to reflect the times of this. And it's just like, well, once again, it's like a fictional place and Gotham's always been really shitty.
Right.
Like, do they really need to like...
hammer that in?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm that's neither here nor there. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Next I have Sword of Azrael. This is issue number 4. This is number 4, right? Yes.
Coming to the end.
Coming to the end. I really, really love this book still. It's a lot of fun. It's interesting. There's a lot of like depth to the story itself, which I wasn't expecting to get. And sometimes it like flies a little over my head, but everything in here also looks great.
Yeah,
so
the art
is so good.
Yeah.
And one of the best parts of this book, honestly, like I feel like if the story is really great, but like the art just really ties everything together, and there's just certain scenes that look so cool. So good. Like, just reminds me of like an anime so much sometimes. Then how they really incorporate like the onomatopoeias like into the stuff.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Here, I guess I'll show you guys instead of just showing Heather. Thank you, Heather.
Yes.
So yeah, I would suggest that book, which is weird. I don't think I would have ever been like, yeah, somebody read an Azrael book. Yeah, I'm reading an Azrael book.
It's not something that you'd suspect, but
no. I mean, even 10 years ago, I would have never been able to tell you who Azrael is. So here we are. Next, Heather and I both got this book, but Heather doesn't.
Mine's invisible.
Yeah, Heather didn't bring hers, which is fine, I guess.
No, I'm so sorry. That was my bad. I left all of my extra books. I got that Witcher Ronin, and I got that Critical Role book. I just didn't grab any of them. I just grabbed my comics because those were like on my coffee table, like out in front of my eyes. Like, I gotta put those in with last week's.
But this is Hayao Miyazaki's Shuna's Journey. I keep calling it Shauna's Journey, and then when I looked at it while I was reading the first half the other day, I was like, it's Shuna.
Shuna.
So Shuna's Journey, it's just about Shuna on a journey. I only read a little bit, like first 10 pages maybe.
I haven't had a chance to delve into it yet, but I got it. Of course I'm going to read it. Like, that was my main goal. But I got it for my little sister because she's a huge Miyazaki fan. But if the reviews on the back tell you anything, it's 2 people I trust with their opinions.
It looks really beautiful. I really like the flow of how the story's going. I'm excited to read more.
I like how soft the lines are on the pictures. It's just...
And like the colors, Yeah. So if you like Miyazaki, it's definitely something I would suggest. That's that.
It's only $27.99.
Yeah, it's only $27.99. It is a hardcover, but yeah.
I do think it is worth the price. Surprisingly, I wouldn't say that about any other book, but it smells great. It looks really good. It's Miyazaki, so it's gonna be good.
Mm-hmm. You got a point.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have Batman.
Upside down. Oh, okay.
He's upside down.
Yes. Okay. I was like, wait, that doesn't look right.
This is issue 129.
You're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is just the continuing of the failsafe story. Batman's down in Atlantis with Aquaman, and then he goes to space, and then he gets out of space.
Yeah, that's, I mean, without, like, spoiling anything, like, Failsafe is like, I know where he is now, and Batman's like, no you don't, I tricked you.
But then, the trick's on Batman.
Yeah, because Failsafe is always one step ahead, and, of course, everything bad has to happen to Batman. Why would he be a sad man, you know?
Everything bad has to happen to Batman. And then Jorge Jimenez's art is just
so good.
Top notch.
We love him.
I read the last story, but now I'm like blanking on what it was about.
It's Joker loses his smile pretty much, and he's trying to get it back, but Batman is the one who has it.
Oh yes. Kind of.
That's how I understood it anyway. It is kind of, for me it was a little confusing to read, especially after reading Batman and then going straight to that story. I was like, wait, what?
Well, yeah, and I can't remember if I didn't read that backup story or if I didn't read the backup story in that first Joker issue.
So I think I didn't read this one in the last issue of Batman because this is part 2, so that was probably why I was so confused by it. Because I remember, like, looking at it. Obviously, this art is very unique, but I don't...
It's Romero, right?
Yeah. But I was like, how did I get to this point? So I think I didn't read it in the last issue, and so that's why I was confused by it. So that, again, is how I understood it. But it's just a short little Joker and Batman story.
Yep.
Just kissing, pretty much, like always.
Just kissing. Just being guy pals.
Just being best friends.
Just roommates.
Alright.
Okay,
so Bad Idea came back this week. It's Bad Idea 2 now. I have my issues with it, but there were a couple books that I am getting because I like the creative teams on them. This is one of them, and... Okay, so this is Orc Island. It's like I don't want to say anything bad about it because, I do like the creative team on it. I like the idea for the story. It wasn't a bad first issue. I just had some issues with it. So... Basically, it's just about this, like, world of, like, half-elves, or elves and stuff who live in this, like, torn-down society. They kind of struggle every single day. And obviously, the, like, royal family and, like, the rich people there have it real good. And so they're kind of, like, left on the wayside or whatever. It follows one character who is a thief. That's how he survives. He gets into, like, a little... fight, I guess. He's eventually recruited by this woman who is like a pirate, and she's like, hey, you come with me to this place called Orc Island. We find orcs, kill them, take their skulls, bring them back and sell them. Like, they're worth a lot of money. But the thing is, no one can get to Orc Island because it's, like, hidden. Some people don't even think that it exists, but she has a way to get there.
Okay.
So I did not like this story until the last few pages.
Okay.
And I don't know why. Like, it was fine, but I just was not as interested in it as, like, the solicit made it seem.
Okay.
So I was just kind of bored, pretty much. The art is good. The colors look great. Again, the story is, like, a really cool idea, but I just did not... The main character is very obnoxious to me. And
That's always hard.
Yeah, and I could not get past it. It's like, okay, dude, like, you're tough. Like, you steal to survive. I get it. Like, don't be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, especially there's, like, several people who are trying to help him, and he's like, no, I'm a thief. I do things by myself. Like... Okay. But, again, the last few pages were kind of better than the whole story combined.
Okay.
So I am curious. I am going to keep reading it because it is like 5 issues. I think 4, which is the one thing I do like about Bad Idea books, is it's never that much of a commitment. But I still think that no books that Bad Idea puts out are better than Odin's Eye. So that's always what I'm going to be comparing it to.
By the same writer.
Yeah. But we'll see. It's
you win some, you lose some.
Yeah. See, like, the colors are so good in this world because it's, above everything else, it's a fantasy story, of course, but I feel like the artist does a really good job of, like, capturing that aspect of it. Mm-hmm. I did not read the story in the back because Bad Idea always includes a story at the end. It's called Arc Story.
Oh, yeah, that was the one that was in the previews.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't read it because I saw this page and I did not like the fact that they just threw this fox overboard and let him die. Not into it. That's all.
All right, so I have Punisher. This is issue number 7. I accidentally made Julian take this off his pull file.
Oh my god, you're sneaky.
Well, I didn't. We were talking about it like on once he came. I will say, like, you guys have heard me talk about this. If you've been listening, like, I'm not a huge fan of this story. I think it's a little ridiculous. I did, though, however, love the fuck out of this issue.
Oh,
This issue was so good. So I don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah, like, him and I were having that conversation. I was just saying it was like a little bit too ludicrous and. Apparently he took it off his pull file, and I was like, oh no, I have it on my pull file still. And he's like, well, why, how did you convince me to do this? And I was like, I don't
gullible is what
I
it
don't
is.
know. You can make your own choices. I just gave you my opinion. I thought it was too silly. But this issue, him and Daredevil kind of getting a little tussle because, they're gonna try and defeat the Hand. He's the beast of the Hand. Daredevil tries to give him an exorcism, and it doesn't work because Frank is the god. It was I don't know. That's silly, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, it was just like
very entertaining.
It was very entertaining. Okay. There's a part of it where you're getting flashbacks from his wife's perspective, and I thought like the voice and like how she's describing that was really, really great because it's just like about him coming back from war, basically being like a completely different person, and him being like the devil sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you all. I really make your own decisions on that one because
don't listen to Chase.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I really have no idea.
That's really good.
I just don't. I don't know. It's good. It's bad. It's a little silly. I guess whatever you want from a Punisher book. It has a little bit of everything.
Now, is that a limited?
I thought it was going to be, but it's...
I thought it was too.
It keeps going.
Okay.
So we'll see.
We'll look into it. Maybe it was like extended like this one was.
Yeah, true. But we'll go on to Poison Ivy next. I'm going to stir soup while you describe this one.
Okay.
I'll be right in the background. You'll
Okay.
see me. Everybody will.
So this is Poison Ivy. This is issue number 6. This was supposed to be the end of the story, correct?
Yes.
Originally, it was only supposed to be these first 6 issues, but it did get extended. So it's now ongoing?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So this issue ends the little battle that Poison Ivy is having with her mentor, and who comes out on top. But it also has like a lot of what would you call it? It's kind of cathartic in a way for her because she discovers things about herself and about what is that? The Lumia?
Oh yeah, the fungus.
Yeah, the fungus that's inside of her. She kind of
I think that's right.
it sounded right, but I also am just not sure because seeing how it's spelled out and then how it is like pronounced is sometimes I'm way off.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
But anyway, she discovers more about that and how it works in Lamia. So I was close.
Yeah,
I was close. But yeah, it's a lot of her discovering things about herself and about the things that she's been doing, and how it's been affecting the human race and her view on them. I did like that there's like her internal narration, but then the letter that she's writing to Harley, I thought was just done so well.
Yeah, no, that letter is great. You can really see that this was supposed to be the end of the series. Like, the way not the last page, but I guess the second to last page, like, it's very, like, final. Like, you can definitely feel that it was supposed to be a limited series, and here was the end. I like the addition of, like, I'm really excited to see where this story goes, because I really trust G. Willow Wilson, but it was something where I was like, I don't know if I'm really going to like this book. Like, Poison Ivy isn't a character I necessarily have ever, like, been drawn to.
Right, same.
So I wasn't sure, and I don't know, I really loved it. This was probably, like, one of my favorite books coming out for a bit.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at, like, how much I liked it. And like you said, you could tell where it was supposed to end. And if it had ended there, I would have been, like, perfectly okay with it. Like, it was
100%, yeah.
In such a good way. Like, the finality of the letter and, like, Harley. And it was a very beautiful, like, first story arc. So I am excited, too.
I'm excited for more.
Yeah.
All right, so then our first number 1 this week is Nature's Labyrinth. I was going to say this is issue number 1, but I said that. This is just Battle Royale, but with a grass labyrinth maze. Or, like, cube.
Yeah. A labyrinth.
If
you will.
Yeah. I don't know what else. I mean, I guess I will say I really like the art a lot. That was, like, one of my favorite aspects of it.
How do I know this artist? Like, what else have they done that I would know?
I don't know.
Because I don't recognize the name.
I say Bailey Underwood. I didn't look and see other stuff that they've done. But yeah, I actually really like this. I wasn't sure what to expect. But this was a great first issue. And then I know describing it as, like, Battle Royale with a labyrinth doesn't necessarily make it that appealing to some people, but, like, that's really what it is, and it's really well done.
It in a way reminded me of that movie that came out a couple years ago, The Hunt.
Yes, I do.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the one where they hunt rich people, or like Republicans.
Yes,
there we go. Rich people, Republicans.
It's the same thing.
I was saying.
But they have like, what would you call that? Like, an electric thing that's, like, attached to them that you can't take off, that keeps track of, like, where you are and all that kind of stuff, and you can't take it off, like I just said, because it will kill you. So there's a little high stakes in this.
Yeah, and there's twists, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, it was. I only special ordered that first one, but I do think I am going to add it because I did enjoy it. I just wasn't sure based off of how it was solicited.
Yeah,
if I was going to like it.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those things where I like Zach Thompson enough where I was like, okay,
give it a try.
I'll give it a try. Like, I just added it, but yeah, I was like, oh, at least try it out.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it.
Next we have Behold Behemoth, which is probably one of my favorite books this week.
Yeah, I think this was mine too. I've been waiting for a Robles book to come back.
Yeah, so this is written by Tate Brumble, and Nick Robles does the art. I think he does the color, like all of it. Yeah, art,
yeah, just
colors.
as illustrated. So,
this was a phenomenal first issue. You're introduced to your main character who is like attending his brother's funeral. You find out that he has been having some really weird dreams, and he is also like a social worker or like child protective service agent. And he comes across a family, basically keeps blacking out and waking up, and then that's really the story without giving away too many aspects of it. I think this is a nice little story to go in blind with. Nick Robles' art is fucking amazing.
So good. Cannot say enough good things about it.
But this is definitely a book I would highly suggest picking up. I'm really interested. Like, the last page was just like, well, fuck, I need to know now. I love that there was nothing after it, too. Like, that's just how it ended.
Yeah, go into it blind, honestly, because I could not remember what this book was supposed to be about when I read it earlier this week.
Either.
I had no idea. So I just, like, this was the first book I ended up reading because it was, like, right after you had texted me. And so I was like, okay, fine, I'll read it. And blown away.
Yeah, it just looks so good. That's why I try to do just, like, the smallest description, because I think it is a book that is best to just pick up and go.
Mm-hmm. And it is a limited, right? It's like 5?
I honestly did
5
not.
or 6.
I
We'll
did
look
not,
it up.
I didn't look into any information with that book.
I didn't
was just
either.
like, all right, here we go.
I saw Robles was doing it, and I was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, and I really like Tape Rumble a lot, so.
What else have they done?
House of Slaughter first story arc, and they're coming back for, like, the next story arc as well.
Okay, that's how I recognize the name.
And then that Barbalian book, which just, like,
yes.
ruined me.
Okay.
Now we have Little Monsters. This is issue number 7. This is back from a little hiatus. This gives you a lot more, like, backstory, which is needed.
Yeah, it's I know that you were very, not necessarily on the fence, but you just were just kind of on about it.
I'm still in about it, honestly, but
I do think if the story had been told in a different order, it would have made more sense.
Yeah, I don't really like the way it's, like, going.
Yeah, because
like I like this. Yeah, I like the bones, but it's just like it does feel like some issues could have been swapped around.
Yeah, because this is issue number 7, and you're just now getting to, like, who are these kids? Like, each issue previously you got a little more background on each of the characters, but this one you get, like, the main story or like the main plot
you get
point.
the meat.
Yes. So, I mean, I get it. But I think this would have been more beneficial if we knew this ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. Maybe within the first story arc.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't need to be, like, in the beginning, but definitely, I think it would have made that, at least, like, if this was, like, maybe the end of the first story arc, it would have been a little more, like, drawn, like a better conclusion. I don't know.
It's, I do like the story. I'm still into it. I think the art is just really good for the story, but yeah, I wish that it had been told in a little bit of a different order.
Yeah, just little kid vampires
who find their first humans.
More vampires.
Yes, here we go.
Bloodstained Teeth. This is issue number 6.
This is also back from a tiny hiatus.
And you kind of get a different point of view this issue, rather than it just being like, oh, we're out to kill another simp. This one gives you a little more, also, back matter, backstory sort of stuff that is needed.
Yes, so in the first story arc, there's a character, a hooded character that you see multiple times in the issues. This is kind of her background. It even says here, before Atticus's hunt began. So this takes place before the first story arc. This art, though, oh my god, this art.
Yeah, the colors, I like. That's, I think, part of the reason I keep this book on, because I like it. I don't want to say I don't like it, but it's not my favorite thing necessarily, you know?
Yeah, I do. I think the first couple issues, I think I really, really, really loved. I thought it was fantastic. The fourth one, though, was my favorite. Like, the fourth issue was just absolutely incredible. If that was like a standalone issue, it would probably be my favorite book that's ever been created. But, the art is really what keeps me in it. Like, the story itself is pretty interesting, and I guess a unique vampire story, if you can even do that anymore. But, I don't know. It is just that. It's a vampire story, so there it is.
Boom, baby.
It's Bloodstained Teeth.
So now we have Night of the Ghouls.
The Ghouls.
This is a little book by Scott Snyder and Francesco Francavilla. I really like this book. I like this book much more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, and I love that it's only going to be 3 issues. Like,
perfect.
that's,
perfect.
Solid. And each one is, like, pretty thick. Like, this is a lot we're reading. It's just about the dad and the son who discover this director who created this movie where, like, the end of the movie has never been seen or found or whatever. Like, so they find out where this director is in, like, a nursing home of some sort. They go to interview him, and then shit gets wild. the story is done in a really cool way where it's in like the present time with the dad and the son and the director, but then it also shows you the movie.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It's so good.
It's one of my favorite aspects of that book. It's like, that is great storytelling right there. Like, just because it reminds me of like watching a horror movie. Like the way that it's done with the story, like even like it's such good horror writing. I'm just blown away by this book. Like, when I read this issue this week, I was just like, damn, this is a good book. This is like a good little horror book. This is a good little like horror story. There was that weird tone they put in the first issue between the son, the mom, and the dad, where I wasn't sure what the fuck it was going on. Like, because it made me feel like maybe the son was actually an adult, because the way he talks is not like a child.
Yeah. He's kind of a brat.
So it was one of those things where I was like, well, maybe it's not like an actual kid. Maybe they're like some sort of like FBI. You know? But that was not it. So that is an actual son and dad. That is a boy. But that would be like my one thing about this book where it was a little thrown off. But yeah. Great
Makes
book.
sense. Yeah, no, it's a very solid book. And again, it's only 3 issues, so if you have the chance to pick it up, you probably should. Especially if you like spooky stuff like that. It's worth it, 100%.
All right, next we've got Earth Divers. This is issue number 2, or Earth Divers Kill Columbus.
Yes.
This little time travel about going back in time and killing Columbus.
Yeah, there's our main character. What is his name?
I don't know.
Oh my god. Okay. We're terrible at names. Whatever. So the main character, the boy, he is the one that kind of goes back in time, and he is given the task of killing Columbus while his partners are back in present time awaiting some sort of sign that that's what he did. But in his time, stuff is not going the way that they're supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going back in time to like kill a figure such as Columbus, you're gonna have to get your hands dirty, and I think this is something that like he was not necessarily prepared for.
Right.
He's also kind of dumb's not the right word, but he seems really like not as bright as he should be. Yeah, like I get that he's speaking several different languages, so sometimes it's hard for him to like keep the right language, but
Tad,
yeah.
Tad, his name is Tad. Yes. And not even that, like, it almost seemed that, like, he knew he was going to have to make some hard choices, but it's, like, when he has opportunities to do things, he just doesn't do them. And it's like, well, you had this opportunity. You had the ability to do this right now. Why didn't you do it? Yeah.
But we'll see. I really like it. Otherwise, like, there's nothing bad about it. It's really intriguing.
Yeah. Obviously, that's going to be brought up at some point. Like, how many times do you get to go back in time to do this one task and have everything correct?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have been able to do it. I would have been scared.
Okay. Next we have Dark Knights of Steel. This is issue number 8.
This is also back.
This is also back from a little break. Lots of returns. I don't really want to talk too much about this issue because I don't really want to give anything away, but this issue was fucking wild.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happens. There's obviously a war coming. All the sides are fighting each other right now.
The last page, I gasped.
Yeah.
I gasped.
Oh my god.
To the point where Chris came into my office and like leaned in, and I was like, shit's happening. Yeah. I was like, just when I thought something like...
It was... Julian had texted me about it earlier in the week and was like, so Dark Knights of Steel, and I was like, I haven't read it yet. Is it good? And he said, I don't know. So I put it off reading it until like today, like right before I came over, because I was like, I kind of want to just like have it fresh in my mind. And I can't believe that he just said, I don't know. Like, this book was incredible. This book was so good. Like, I love this story.
I would say this is probably one of like the best DC books like on the shelf right now. It's fucking solid. It's like solid. The art is good. The story is just like really great. And if you had told me when this book like came out that I would be like, oh yeah, no, this is fucking fantastic, I would have been like, no, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me this like alternate medieval story with fucking superheroes is great. No.
Get this Mora cover too.
Yeah, just fucking, it's solid.
Yeah, this
solid
is
book.
An A+ in my book. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, so next we have X-Men Red. This is issue number 8. I also don't have a lot to say about this because there is a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot going on.
I feel like I am kind of confused by what is happening in it. So I also don't have much to say because I need to look more into it because I was like, wait, what's happening?
I think the problem is like a lot of the stuff that they're referencing has been like a few, like the Abigail Brand stuff. I think like has kind of was with like why am I blanking on the name of the other Al Ewing book that was the Mars one that was before this? It was some sort of X-Men book.
Book, okay.
Sword. It was Sword. Sorry.
Sword. Okay, see, that makes sense. I didn't read that.
So they like, I think there's building on stuff that was in Sword, and I didn't read it either, so I could be totally speaking incorrectly. Okay. But then there is stuff that's in this that like we saw in the first little bit of this story, but it's been so long, and there's like been so much happening. I think it's easy to like lose like the thread. But I liked it. Like I said, there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, It was a lot of fun to read, especially because this is like directly after the Judgment Day stuff. And so it's like what's happening with everyone else now. So I did enjoy reading it. I do like the art for it a lot.
I say the art was one of my favorite parts.
I do still very much enjoy the story. I was just very confused by some of it, and I don't necessarily like Abigail Brand.
Yeah.
I don't know who does, but I don't know. It was just very confusing for me because if that is the case, if it was from Sword, we did not read that. So I didn't know what I was supposed to be reading. I was like, okay, cool, new story.
All right, so last we've got Golden Rage. This is issue number, I almost said 44. No way it's that much. Number 4. This is just a story about old ladies that are shipped off to an island. And then also young ladies who are no longer viable for pregnancy.
So there was a reveal that kind of happened in the last issue, and this is them dealing with the repercussions of that and trying to figure out where they're going to go from there, and with the news that is brought with that reveal. You can go. Okay.
I was just going to say each issue is kind of like a character study. So it's just focused on one character, kind of their internal monologue about everything that's happening. So you're kind of watching these events unfold via like other people's perspectives. Like there's never one perspective going on, which is like one of the aspects I really like about this book. It's also just really well written, and the art is very, very good too. Like,
yeah, I really enjoyed this issue, and it wasn't just because of the clowns that they had.
That part was so much, but so great.
Yeah, I loved it, and the fact that afterwards they were like, she saw the clowns, they made her emotional. I was like, same, dude. I get it.
Yeah, they just all are sobbing.
Yeah. And there is a nice little article in the back called "What Does a Clown Do?" and it kind of talks about like what clowns were originally started for, and then like how they're interpreted in today's world and stuff. I really enjoyed that art. I like clowns.
I would
a
say
lot,
you like
so.
clowns.
Yeah. So that article was really, really fun to read. But yeah, this book is just really good.
Yeah. Another book I was not sure how good it would be, but this book is just phenomenal.
I think it does help that each issue is someone different within the group that the story's following. But yeah, I don't know, it's just a very fun book about old people.
Yeah. So that's all we've got. I don't have anything. I have nothing. You got anything?
I don't have any. Oh, I do. This is just a quick thing. If you have the ability to carry Narcan with you, please do that. Learn how to use it and keep your people safe.
Especially if you are in the Omaha area, because right now it is very bad. So yeah, that is That's good. It's a good one. Well, thank you for listening to us. We'll see you next time. We'll see you on the Flippity Flip. Go support your local libraries, support your local comic book shops, go buy some comics, do good things, take care of your friends.
Don't just eat the rich, kill them too.
We'll see you next time on the Flippity Flip.